Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Montgomery County Council, and thank you so much to Senator Ben Cardin for being with us today. You've always been such a great friend to and advocate for Montgomery County, but this year we all know that you've been on the front lines in the fight to provide quality and affordable health care to all Marylanders during this pandemic, and to preserve our democracy and strengthen our voter rights, and to protect our environmental and natural resources, and to make sure no community gets left behind as we recover from the pandemic. We're so glad that now with the Senate majority under the Biden-Harris administration, you're chairing the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Plan that you helped author and shepherd through the Senate, has been a real lifeline for so many of our small businesses to help them keep the lights on and now recover from the pandemic. And we're so glad of your subcommittee chair at Environment and Public Works, shepherding through the coming infrastructure and transportation investments to repair our aging infrastructure and create millions of great jobs. So we know how fortunate we are to have you, Senator, representing us in the Senate. And my colleagues and I have prepared a number of questions for you, but we want to just first turn it over to you for some opening remarks.
Well, Tom, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to be back with the council. If I go on for too long, cut me off, because I'm really excited. We met with the president this week in caucus. We're on the potential of passing the most consequential legislative program in my lifetime. You have to go back to FDR to find anything comparable to the initiatives that are coming out of the Biden administration and now are on track for consideration in the United States Senate. It's a rough road ahead. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but we have a path forward where we think we can win on these issues, and I'm going to go over that with you. But I'm really excited. I want to acknowledge our federal team. I work very, very closely with Chris Van Hollen, with the three members of the House from Montgomery County, Jamie Raskin, John Sarbanes, and David Trone. We do work together as a team. We've have divided responsibilities in regards to these packages. So let me just start out, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. President Biden made a commitment to build back better. And he recognized that in a certain degree, our democracy is on the ropes. We've seen autocratic countries point out that the disarray coming from democratic states, do you really want that as your form of government? So yes, they pointed to January the 6th and the insurrection, but they also point to the gridlock in our legislative branches of government and whether they're able to produce. So to a significant degree, I think that President Biden was motivated by what he saw in Charlottesville. He's clearly motivated by what he saw on January the 6th, and he clearly is motivated to be the leader for democracy and good governance globally. And this is all part of America's strategy in building back better. So the first part of it was the American Rescue Plan. And the American Rescue Plan, as you know, provides substantial resources to state and local government, because we knew that you're the front lines and you have to be able to perform. So $200 million was provided directly to Montgomery County. In addition, we helped your schools. We provided money for the vaccine distributions. And the first area of attack was on the COVID-19 itself. And remember, on January 20th, when President Biden took the oath of office, America was one of the worst countries in the world in dealing with COVID-19. We're now the best country in the world. So President Biden made a commitment to get the vaccinations distributed fairly and completely, and he's done that. Obviously, we want more people vaccinated. We're very proud of Montgomery County. You've done a great job, but you don't have 100%. We're not going to be satisfied till we have 100%, because that's our protection against the Delta variant. That's our protection against right now, as we see a somewhat of an increase. And guess what? Come the fall, when it's cold weather and children are back in school, we have to make sure that we have the maximum number of people vaccinated in order to protect ourselves. So President Biden's very much engaged on that. But here's the excitement, and I'll try to do this briefly so we have plenty of time for questions. The American Jobs Plan started with an effort to rebuild our infrastructure. And President Biden had a pretty bold plan on that. And he worked with Republicans and Democrats to come up with a bipartisan package. And quite frankly, we have a bipartisan package, and we hope to consider it as early as this coming week. About $600 billion, the largest increase in infrastructure in America's history. Great, $600 billion is going to be fantastic. Tom mentioned the fact of my chairmanship on the infrastructure subcommittee. Two bills that came out of my subcommittee and the full committee, the transportation reauthorization and the water reauthorization, will be funded 100% in the bipartisan bill, plus some additional funding for water and transportation. In addition, we will have funding for broadband in the bipartisan package. So it is a good package. It includes for the first time clean energy component and electrification of vehicles and charging stations. It significantly increases the transportation alternative programs that give you more control over your own transportation dollars. On the water infrastructure, for the first time, a pilot program that I authored will set up a water affordability program similar to LIHEAP for low-income families to be able to afford their water bills. We have a resiliency feature to the water infrastructure. President Biden's committed to removing all lead-containing pipes in our community. All this is in the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But here's the good news. It is going to be considered in conjunction with the Budget Reconciliation Act, which will be partisan. The Democrats will carry it. But for the first time, we see a light that we might be able to get all 50 Democrats together on a budget reconciliation package. We've got Bernie Sanders and Mark Warner both supporting the budget resolution. They both serve on the budget committee. And I mentioned that Mark Warner is certainly not a conservative, but he's a moderate on these issues. And Bernie Sanders is certainly not a moderate. We'll leave it at that. So we can get that together on this. This is a $3.6 trillion. The numbers I'm using are 10-year numbers. The infrastructure bill coming bipartisan is a shorter term. It's actually about a 5-year bill. But the budget reconciliation is a 10-year number, $3.6 trillion. And it includes, we have to follow it with a bill, but the resolution gives us the ability to do incredible things. Let me just give you some of the things that are included in the Budget Reconciliation Act. It includes universal pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds. It includes affordable child care, maximum amount that you pay for child care. It includes community college tuition payments. It includes HBCUs, major investments, increase in the Pell Grants. It includes paid family and medical leave. It includes new initiatives for affordable housing. It includes new initiatives for nutrition. It extends the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit that's getting children out of poverty. It expands Medicare to cover eye care, dental care, and hearing. It expands home-based coverage of services for our older Americans. It extends the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. It closes the gap for consumers on the Medicare prescription drug benefits. It expands Medicaid coverage. It provides additional help for small businesses with direct loans. Deals with our border security issues and dealing with those in temporary protective status as well as the dreamers. And I could go on and on and on. Now, let me be clear. These programs will not be permanent because you can't do that in reconciliation. So will be for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but there'll be policies for this country finally getting us to where we need to be. And we fund this, I'll just give you, there's a lot of different ways we do it, but President Biden's committed to making sure the tax burdens fall only on those over $400,000, not on small businesses and not on family farms. So we have, just to let you know, we have a tax gap in America today of $1 trillion a year in revenues that go uncollected. So we think that we are going to be able to close that gap and raise significant money and impose additional taxes on the highest of income. I'm excited about it. There's a long path to get this done. It's not going to be easy. Believe me, there'll be lots of people trying to derail this. We can't lose a single Democratic vote on reconciliation, and we don't have 100% yet on board. But I am optimistic under President Biden's leadership. And I'm telling you, he's inspirational. He was in our meeting, and it was Joe Biden again, the persuasive individual who's down to earth. He talks our language. He relates to people. And I'm convinced we can get this done. So, yes, I'm excited. And it's good to be with you. And now let me take your questions.
Thank you so much, Senator. It's great to see this level of excitement after a meeting with you over the previous 4 years. And I know we all share it. Councilmember Novato.
Thank you so much, Senator, for everything that you have done for us. It is definitely a breath of fresh air to be able to have these types of conversations after such difficult moments. And we can always count on you on so many different topics. So I want to first thank you very much. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about two areas. Of course, the immigration, and I'm going to stop my video because my internet connection is kind of crazy. But what's included in the budget regarding TPS, also your thoughts and some of the issues that we're seeing in the hemisphere, because as you said, everything is connected and the U.S. now is being seen as a leader again, but we do have some interesting developments in Cuba and other places like Haiti and Venezuela. And then, of course, how that connects with our issues around folks that are leaving their countries to come here. These are very important, especially in the border. So just your thoughts on that. And also, big shout out that you should be proud of in terms of what we've done with vaccination rates for the Latino community here. It's amazing what we've been able to do. Now our Latino community and vaccination rates actually is better than our white community. Big gap that closed, and because of some very important models. So would love to share more on the national level about that, because this council has been in the forefront of that. So those two issues, and again, thank you so much for all the relief that you have provided to us. We would not be able to be where we are right now if it wasn't for your leadership.
Well, Nancy, let me just give you a congratulations. The reason why the vaccination rates are so much better in Montgomery County is because of leadership. People who are respected in the community being out there and making it clear that being vaccinated not only keeps you safe, keeps your community safe, but gets us to the end of this pandemic. And because of the leadership in Montgomery County, your numbers reflect that. If you look at parts of the country that have the poorest vaccination rates, it's a lack of leadership. Their leaders are telling them there's no big deal, or they have these conspiracy theories, or they want to make politics out of this when it's a public health issue. You have stuck to the public health, and that's why you have the big numbers you have. I also want to give a shout out on the immigration issues to Senator Dick Durbin. He's been truly our leader on this issue. And every meeting we've had on the budget committee, he has made it clear that immigration needs to be part of reconciliation. And we do have it in budget reconciliation. Now, here is the challenge. I also want to give a shout out to your two United States senators who have been pushing for TPS in every discussion that they mention Dreamers, and we are for the Dreamers. Make no mistake about it. The Dreamers definitely will go to the wall on that. But we also want to make sure that TPS is considered along with the Dreamers. And Senator Van Hollen and I have raised that at every one of the meetings to make sure that TPS is included in the package. Here's the challenge, two challenges. First, we have to get all 50 Democrats. And some of our Democrats don't share the same views we do on immigration. So we're going to have to figure out a way to move forward on that. But Senator Durbin is optimistic, and so am I, that we'll find the sweet spot on immigration. Secondly, this is budget reconciliation. So we are restricted in restricted on what we can do on policy. So some of the policy issues that we would like to do, we may not be able to get into budget reconciliation because of the parliamentarian. So recognize those restrictions, but I can tell you that we are pushing very, very aggressively to make sure immigration is included in the package. Now, the good news here, there are parts of this that really garner the more moderate to conservative views on some of the worker issues in immigration, some of the visas, the work visas. So we think we can put together a package that will get the 50 votes we need.
Thank you so much, Senator. Councilmember Rice.
Thank you, Senator.
Sorry, Councilmember. Were you finished? Councilmember Navarro.
Yeah, no, the only other thing I was, thank you. Yeah, no, the only other thing I was going to mention was the fact that, I appreciate how you started the conversation regarding how the United States is now has regained this position globally. And obviously, I cannot ignore the fact that right here in our hemisphere, we are seeing some very significant developments in Haiti and Cuba and in Venezuela, and very much appreciate the thoughtful and careful way in which the administration is providing support, but also speaking up about the fact that we need to be a model and we need to set the example, and but not forget that there's a lot of suffering happening that inevitably comes to our shore. So again, just wanted to flag that as a real concern that we're also hearing, especially here in Montgomery County, because of who we are and how many immigrants we have, that there's a lot of very upsetting developments happening in the Caribbean, and right here in our Western Hemisphere that we need to make sure that we handle in the most democratic possible way.
I've been on the phone with the State Department. I had a chance to talk to Deputy Secretary Wendy Sherman yesterday. The challenges in our own hemisphere are really very severe. Cuba, we're watching extremely closely. We all would like to have a better relationship with Cuba, but we need to protect the human rights of the people of that country. And then Haiti is close to a failed state if it's not already there. And we are looking at ways in which we can have presence in Haiti to get first safety for the people of the country, and then some credible leader pending elections. And it's not easy, but we are actively engaged in Haiti. And Venezuela is a tragic situation. We're all working to try to get humanitarian assistance into Venezuela and try to get free elections, which is the outside interference by Cuba has made that more difficult.
Thank you. Councilmember Rice.
Well, thank you very much, Senator. I really appreciate you taking the time out to meet with us, as you always do, and talk about issues that are important to our community. I'm just going to jump right in. The National Association of Counties just released our broadband task force report. I know how passionate you are about making sure that we continue to have access, especially in some of our rural areas, as well as our unserved and underserved areas in some of our communities across this country. And so I encourage you, I know my staff is sending that out to your staff if they haven't already received it, but just wanted to lift that up. I know how much work you've done in terms of ensuring that our farmers and their families continue to have that connectivity as a representative of the agricultural reserve here in Montgomery County. It's incredibly important. But more importantly, it is something that I believe is an equitable right for us all across this country. And when we look at other countries, other jurisdictions that do it better than we do here in the United States, I would just say and encourage you, I know that we have the infrastructure plan that's there, but there are certain pieces that localities will need as far as legislation to be able to ensure everything from municipal broadband to making sure that we're lifting some of the restrictions so that we have dig once policies that are effective in ensuring that we can maximize the opportunities that we have to lay fiber. So just wanted to lift that up and make sure that you were aware of some of the recommendations that are out there. But I did want to talk to you specifically about two different resolutions that also were passed by the National Association of Counties. I am now the chair of the Human Services and Education Steering Committee. And so two of those, one that's a guarantee for federal nutrition. We've seen through the pandemic that families became even more unstable when it comes to food security. And so from that perspective, it really is important. I know that the USDA granted a waiver that lasts until next year for us to not have a requirement for children to have access to school meals. But the reality is we shouldn't go backwards. We shouldn't go backwards and start forcing people to fill out forms, people who are going in and out of poverty, in and out of qualifications, when we know that access to a quality meal may be the only meal that they get in a day. And so ensuring that that's there for our kids so that they can just go to school focused to learn is incredibly important. And then the last one, I know that you know all too well, Senator Van Hollen has put forth his bill dealing with full funding of Title I and IDEA funding, something that the federal government has promised states for decades and has never truly come to fruition in terms of its part in playing in terms of making sure that those children with disabilities, those children who are the most heavily impacted, have the resources not only from state and local governments, but from the federal government as well. And so I would really appreciate your support and continuing to stand up this ideology that we understand that, look, all of our kids are challenged with so many things. And the more barriers we can eliminate so that we can get them successful, get them into the workforce and continuing to lift up our communities and lift up our economic development as a whole is definitely a priority for us all across this nation. So I just wanted to share those three things with you. Love to, of course, obviously have your support on all of them. I think I've heard from you and you've commented on all of them before, but just wanted to, make sure that we were continuing to talk about this because now, even more so than ever before in the pandemic, we've seen those are the people who have suffered the most.
Well, Greg, first, thank you for those points and thank you for your leadership in NACO. We really appreciate that we have a Marylander that is so engaged on the national front. All three I support. On broadband, we've made significant progress on broadband. We took advantage of, during the Great Recession, to use the American Rescue the ARA program, whatever it is, those letters stand for today. We put in the superhighway for high-speed internet. Now we need to get in every community and the last mile connection. We took advantage of the COVID relief packages that have already been passed to include broadband. But here's the really good news. And look, Wednesday's the deadline for the bipartisan bill to be in legislative format so that we can move forward with a motion to proceed. The budget resolution is also supposed to be finished by Wednesday. I don't know if we'll meet those deadlines or not, so things could change. But the last version of the bipartisan bill included in excess of $50 billion for broadband. That's the bipartisan bill. So there is strong commitment that access to high-speed internet needs to be available in every home in America. So that's our goal. We know that's a challenge, but we have the technology to make that the reality. So let's now have the resources to make that a reality. So we're committed to that. On the nutrition program, we will have a nutrition section of budget reconciliation that will provide new federal support for nutrition. So that's part of the commitment under the American Family Plan set forward by President Biden. We made a decision that we would include 100% of President Biden's initiatives in the budget reconciliation. So we've included every one of the American Jobs Plan and the American Family Plan, either in the bipartisan bill or in the Budget Reconciliation Act. IDEA, I strongly support full funding. I think we're not going to get to full funding. That's going to take a while. But we need to be on a pathway to get us to that full funding of IDEA. I agree with you. The federal government has a niche in education. One of those is to make sure that we fully take care of those in special needs. So I think we got to get there. I hope we're going to make progress in this budget cycle. But it's going to take. The full funding will not happen overnight.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Cardin. I couldn't agree with you more in everything that you said. I just really want to thank you for all of your great work and what you continue to do for Marylanders and for folks across this country. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Reamer.
Thank you so much, Senator. It's so good to be with you today. And I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of our community. I joined the County Council in 2010 as we were reeling from the Great Recession. And the difficulty in our community of trying to figure out how to allocate very few resources in the wake of a devastating recession. We are still hurting. There are still frayed, community relationships from the difficult choices we had to make. And what you've done, what the Biden administration has done by providing the support that you've provided, has put us on a path to be, a community that is together and that is figuring this out together without tearing each other's throats out. And I just personally, but also as a county, it's hard to even imagine how much of a difference this has made. It has been profound. And you have rewritten the rule book about how this country responds to recessions. And as you said, I couldn't agree more. You are putting forward an agenda that rivals any domestic agenda since the New Deal. And it's not necessarily as vogue to say that. It's not always the case. People are giving the Biden administration the credit that is deserved, and the Democrats in the Senate and the House the credit that is deserved. What you are doing is huge. It is generationally significant, and it is the biggest potential progress in social policy we've seen in decades. And I'm so proud to have the opportunity to support you and to support that agenda. It makes everything worthwhile. So I just want to say that. I want you to know that that's how a Democratic elected official in Montgomery County feels. I wanted to just share with you work that we are doing on a particular idea. The county council, at my proposal, has funded something we call the Pandemic Prevention Center, Bioterror and Pandemic Prevention Center. And it is a very interesting idea that's coming from Connected DMV, a regional economic development strategy organization, leaders in the life sciences sector, to create a center for research into preventing future pandemics, starting with identifying the top 100 pathogens in the world and taking monoclonal antibody therapies through clinical trial. It's a brilliant idea that these private sector leaders have come up with, and it would be potentially a game changer for Montgomery County if we could land it here, and it would benefit the whole state. Of course, it would be tied in with Hopkins and the University of Maryland and all of NIH and everything. So as we hope that will be on your, it's on your radar. We hope there'll be an opportunity for you to help us kind of move it forward over the course of this year. So I just wanted to, share that with you and ask if you've got your eye on that and any thoughts you might have. Thank you.
Well, thanks, and I appreciate you bringing that proposal. We are aware of that, and we will certainly be supporting that. We think Montgomery County is a great location. You are one of the high-tech biotech centers of the world in your county. You have really made a county effort for excellence, and it has been coordinated very well with the state of Maryland and with our federal officials. So we'll do everything we can. We had two problems with this pandemic. One, we were not as prepared as we should have been. We did not take it as seriously as we should have, that we were vulnerable to this type of pandemic. Obviously, none of us in our lifetime ever experienced anything like this. So sometimes, the absence of a threat gives you a sense of calmness that you shouldn't necessarily relax on. So we weren't as prepared as we should have. And then secondly, we had just horrible leadership with the president. From day one, he did everything wrong, including eliminating the tools we had in place to deal with the pandemic at the National Security Council, as well as minimizing the risk from the beginning, not using the tools that were at its disposal to protect the supply chain, and the list goes on and on and on. So the fundamental lack of leadership from the White House was deadly to how we responded, but we needed to be better prepared. So what you're doing in regards to the center, to me, makes abundant sense. You have our attention. I know the Biden administration is committed to this type of preparation, because we know there'll be more pandemics in the future. I would just add one thing to it. we also need to be engaged globally because as strong as we are here around the world, they are not. And we need to make sure that we had the capacity to help globally deal with pandemics.
Councilmember Ingrid, good? Councilmember Jawanda.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Cardin, it's good to see you, sir. And thank you for all the work that you've done. It was really exciting to see you excited coming out of the president. I feel like I need my glasses and he say, "Hey, Jack," or something. But I can imagine a very energetic Senator Biden, or former Senator Biden, President Biden, telling you guys that we can do this. So I'm really excited. Obviously, that's a transformative opportunity with the infrastructure and the social policy bill. So just, we're going to do anything we can do. I know it rests with Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin and several others. So, but I know you all are going to have a plan of attack. So really excited about that. I wanted to ask you quickly about two things. One, voting rights. We obviously are all very concerned about the attacks. I was able to attend last week the Vice President's big announcement around the effort to invest in voter protection in partnership with the DNC, and just really have an all hands on deck moment. Obviously, the President spoke as well just yesterday, the day before it was, and I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about where things are. There's been talk about a carve out to the filibuster potentially to allow folks like the aforementioned Senator Sinema and Manchin to still have the filibuster in place, but protect something as sacrosanct to democracy as the vote. And just wanted to talk, is there anything you can share on that? We're obviously all very concerned about what that could mean going into the elections next year.
Well, thanks for that question. There is no more important issue from the point of view of our democratic institutions than the voting protections. The positive issues I can tell you are this. All 50 Democratic senators are in agreement on what we need to do. We have modified the bill that came over from the House, and we have all 50 of the Democratic senators on board with the modified provisions, which are in substance the same as the For the People Act that passed the House, authored by your own John Sarbanes. We're very proud of his leadership on this issue. Secondly, it's been identified by President Biden, by Vice President Harris, by Speaker Pelosi, by Leader Schumer, as a must-consider legislation. We've got to do everything we possibly can to get this done. We're not going to lose sight of it. We're going to keep it on the agenda. We're going to keep pushing it, et cetera. And we're going to look for how we can achieve the objectives for the people. That's the good news. The bad news is that we are seeing a very unfriendly state attack on voting rights, and it's pervasive through so many different states. To extreme issues such as restricting early voting, restricting absentee or voting by mail, drop-off boxes, the ability to help people who are in line with such things as water, the ability of individuals to challenge election results, therefore making it difficult to get certified results in a timely way. And the list goes on and on and on of efforts being made. In addition, the census data will be available very shortly, so we're going to start to draw the new congressional lines. And the view of my House counterparts is that we have at least between 5 and 10 seats that are likely to be lost to Republicans as a result of outrageous partisan redistricting. So for all and then we lastly have every year the escalating amount of money being spent in campaigns, and if we don't figure out a way to deal with dark money, it's going to be even worse. All that's in the For the People Act, and as I said, we have 50 senators that are in favor of it. The challenge is whether we can find a path forward. We've seen no crack whatsoever among the Republicans. There has been no Republican who has indicated any willingness in any form to join us on these bills. Not one. Which we find somewhat shocking. But it's hard to understand their position. So it looks like the only path forward would be to modify the Senate rules. We do not have 50 votes today to modify the Senate rules, and we have to have 50 votes. We are clearly short two, but there may be more than two. Be perfect. It may be a larger group than just the two senators. Senator Van Hollen and I have made it very clear to our leadership, we will consider any modification of the filibuster rule. Yes, we'll support a carve out for civil rights such as voting protection, but we would also, quite frankly, probably support the elimination totally of the filibuster rule. So your two senators are prepared to take whatever steps we need to in order to get this considered. Senator Schumer has shown some brilliance in his tactics. I don't know if he can pull the rabbit out of the hat on this one or not. I just don't know. And the clock is ticking because redistricting will start in earnest in the fall. So I'm not optimistic, but I can tell you we are motivated and we'll stay motivated and we'll try to find a path forward.
Yeah. Well, it just underscores why we need to get this once in a lifetime infrastructure package passed. The other thing I just want to put on your radar, and you can respond briefly, is, as you know, or you may know, we have the largest percentage of African immigrants in the country here in the District, Maryland and Virginia taken together, and a large percentage in Montgomery County. And I'm of African descent. My dad was born and raised in Nigeria. There are 1.3 billion Africans who only 1% are vaccinated. And the lack of the restrictions and the hoarding by countries, wealthy nations, ourselves included, we've done a great job here, but it's really as the virus surges, Delta variant's taking off. People are just in the last month, 40% rise in cases on the continent. One of the issues is the restrictions on raw materials and being able to send things over and refrigeration. I just want to put it on your radar. I'm concerned about it. I hear it from our constituents who have friends and family back home. And I think as the leader that we are here in the United States, it's something, and because of who we are in this region and state, we need to be on this issue because it's really a global, it's an obviously global pandemic, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Most of the doses that are going to be available over the next several months are already pre-purchased by wealthy nations. So I just wanted to put that on the radar and see if there's anything that you all are thinking about or doing related to this.
Well, Will, thanks for bringing it up. As I indicated earlier, in dealing with preparations and how you deal with global pandemics, the United States has to be engaged globally. We can't just think we can prepare in our own country. We have to be working with the international community. President Biden has committed 500 million doses of vaccines to underserved countries. A significant amount of that will be used on the continent of Africa. I met this past week with the nominee to be the Assistant Secretary for Africa. That's the person in the State Department responsible for our missions in the African countries. And we went over this issue about how we can reach out and do more to protect the stability of these countries, which include the medical infrastructure and vaccine distribution. So we are very much engaged in trying to figure out a network to do it. There is a model that worked, and that was called PEPFAR. PEPFAR dealt with the AIDS epidemic and did it in a very successful, consequential way. The PEPFAR countries were able to develop a healthcare system that allowed them to protect their people. And I've been to a lot of the PEPFAR countries, and we have saved millions of lives, literally, in Africa. You're right, we need to have the economic ties. Africa has been a country that has not gotten its attention that it should have over a long period of time. We are establishing much stronger trade routes between the United States and Africa. And if we don't be more aggressive, a couple things can happen. One, China is spending time in Africa. They recognize that. Africa has a lot of resources. and China's trying to control those resources. So for the sake of the global security, we need to deal with that. Secondly, if you look at the number of countries in Africa that have that are considered free countries, it's a smaller percentage than in the other parts of the world. So we're losing to corruption and kleptocracy in Africa. So we have to also pay attention on governance on the continent, and they need our help and guidance and need our investments. So yes, we have to deal with the vaccination rates and the healthcare needs, but we also have to deal with governance and trade on the African continent.
Yeah, appreciate it. Look forward to working with you on that. And thank you again for everything you're doing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Vice President Albornoz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, it's so good seeing you. I just want to give you just 3 thank yous and acknowledgments up front. The first is for your partner there, Kenny Reichert. I think he could be the 5th at-large member of the county council based on how many events he goes to and the respect that he has across this entire community. We know Kenny's had some health challenges in this last year, and Kenny, we're with you. And so appreciate your leadership, and he represents you well, sir, and all of our constituents here in the community. The second thank you is specifically to your office as well. Early on in the dissemination of the vaccination, private providers, particularly our pharmacies and supermarkets, had their own guidelines on how they were administering the vaccines, which oftentimes were confusing for a number of our residents. And there were some specific incidents in which, because of misunderstandings, our immigrant community in particular became reluctant to access those private sources. And your office worked closely with the council to intervene and to help connect to a variety of those businesses that you guys had contacts with that we did not. So I want to thank you specifically for that. And then finally, as the father of 4 kids, I had a nice little benefit in my bank account yesterday, which certainly helps support our family, but more importantly is a lifeline for so many families across this country that will lift children out of poverty and families out of poverty in ways, as Councilmember Reamer noted, are really generational. And so if there's any way that we can codify that, this is going to be extremely popular, as you can imagine, and extremely helpful among families. And whatever you need as backup to reinforce that message on the national level, we stand with you on that and so many other things, including the infrastructure bill, which we're going to be counting on later. I just had two points and then a follow-up question. The first is, I have the tremendous honor of chairing our Health and Human Services Committee, which my colleagues, Councilmember Rice and Glass, serve on as well. And as you can imagine, all of us have been part of the HHS committee this last year and a half. But it has become clear that we're going to have to take some really dramatic steps on a policy level to address some of the core barrier issues that led to the disparities, tragic disparities that we saw through the pandemic. And so we're going to have to take bold steps. I know that you agree with us that health insurance is a right. And I know there's a bill making its way through Congress right now to expand Medicare access to all of our county residents. And this council signed a resolution in support of that earlier this week. But I know that a lot of I's need to be dotted and a lot of T's need to be crossed, and this has become a political football. But there is no doubt that ensuring quality health insurance is a game changer, both in terms of its benefits to individual families, but even more importantly, our overall public health and frankly, our economy. So would love to get your thoughts on that. And then related to that, there have been some great gains around telehealth and telemedicine that I think also can be uplifted from a policy level too, at the federal level, that can help local jurisdictions take better advantage of new and emerging technology to address some of those prevailing public health issues. So would love to hear your feedback and thoughts on that. And then I have one final follow-up question after that as well. Senator Cardin, thank you.
Well, thanks for mentioning Ken. Ken has been an incredible help to my ability as a United States Senator. He'll do anything, even experience our healthcare system close up and personal in order to get a better understanding as to how our healthcare system operates. So he's been a real trooper. Thanks, Ken. In regards to the vaccine distributions and some of your issues you're relating, the points you're related on the health disparities is part of that. I introduced legislation with Senator Portman, a Republican, it was bipartisan, that there be outreach to underserved communities. It got picked up by President Biden in the American Rescue Plan. It was funded in the American Rescue Plan. So some of the resources that have been used recently has been used to compensate for our failure to have the type of outreach in underserved communities that put us at a disadvantage on vaccine distribution and on healthcare itself. I'm also the author of the National Institute for Minority Health and Health Disparities, being a full institute at the National Institutes of Health. I've talked to Javier Becerra, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, who is absolutely committed, and the Biden administration is absolutely committed to making significant inroads on the disparities that we have in our country on access to health care. So we are looking at many initiatives to try to close that gap, to have better facilities. I think our qualified health centers are a major strategy that is working, but we need to do more in order to reach communities that have been left behind for too long. Clearly, telehealth is part of the equation. We learned that during the pandemic, but we also have to make sure that communities have access to the internet, because it's a big difference between audio telehealth and video telehealth, and we have to make sure that the full services are available in all communities. And the last thing I just want to underscore is we just said on the check that you received this week. That was Joe Biden. That was Democrats. Make no mistake about it. We wanted to lift families out of poverty. If you look at 2017 and the tax bill, you know, the Republicans all of a sudden are getting religion on fiscal responsibility. They spent $1.9 trillion in 2017, and almost all of it went to high income and large corporations. $1.9 trillion. They didn't offset any of that. And now they're talking about we have to have offsets for everything. They just gave that away to the wealthiest. We want to reverse this equation. We want to deal with the families that are struggling. And the expansion of the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit, that was a game changer for lifting families out of poverty. And it's making a huge difference. And guess what? Our economy has never been hotter right now in projections. Because if you empower the middle class, you grow the economy. And we are. We're seeing now projections the highest we've seen in recent history on economic potential and growth. So yes, part of the reconciliation partisan package is to take that child credit and take the earned income tax credit and extend it. We hope for multiple years. We'll see how many years we can get, but I can tell you we're going to continue to do this. So as our constituents are getting these checks, remind them why they're getting them. And number two, if they're not getting the checks, but they're eligible, there's a portal at IRS where they can, because they didn't have a tax liabilities and didn't file their tax returns. Let's make sure that all of our offices give outreach to those that are not getting the checks, that are eligible to get the checks, to get them to the IRS so they can get the help under this bill.
Senator, thanks. I won't ask the last question because of time. It was regarding gun control, which I know you've been a leader in that space. We'll talk about that some other time. Just end on this personal note. You left me a voicemail message congratulating me on being elected into the office I'm in now, and again when I became vice president. Those are two messages I will never delete, sir. And I appreciate your tremendous leadership nationally. We are so proud of you and your team. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ditto to all that. Councilmember Glass.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator. I could have listened to you talk about fair and equitable tax policy all morning, and I appreciate the vigor and feistiness in which you're taking that up in the Capitol and the Senate. So thank you. But I want to turn to a little closer to home, to Maryland, and thank you for your years and decades of leadership with regard to environmental leadership and stewardship here. And I know that you have recently offered a proposal to help clean up the Chesapeake Bay, which has been a lifelong passion of yours. And I think that type of leadership and creative, innovative thinking, where what you've done is recognize that there are a lot of states that are contributing to the state of the Chesapeake Bay. And while we have done as much as we can, and we need to do more here in Maryland, there are other states, namely New York and Pennsylvania, that can step up. And for the Maryland's United States Senator to think outside the box and think outside our boundaries and offer a proposal to help the state of Pennsylvania, right, reduce its sediments and phosphorus and some of the other chemicals that flow downstream and ultimately harm us and the bay and everything, the economy that is associated with that, I think is the type of innovative and holistic approach that we really need to take moving forward with regard to the environment. And clearly, you know, with the Paris Accord and everything else that we're trying to re-engage in and set up a global framework to protect our environment, it is the creative, smaller steps like the ones that you've been advocating for that I think show some of the greatest potentials. And we have those discussions here at the council, recognizing that we need to increase our renewable portfolio, and we need to diversify how we create more energy here and reduce the energy consumption as well. But sometimes we need to think outside of our own borders here in Montgomery County, and the leadership that you're exhibiting, thinking outside of Maryland, I think is a great guiding post. And really no question here, I just want to applaud you for that leadership, and hopefully it will trickle down just like the water does into the bay, into other policies that we enact and look for here in Montgomery County and across Maryland and the region.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate those comments. The Chesapeake Bay, obviously a national treasure, part of our way of life. It's challenged our full delegations working very hard on that. I worked very closely with Senator Van Hollen on the Chesapeake Bay programs. He's in a really key position on the Appropriations Committee. I'm on the Authorizing Committee. We've authorized the program at a higher level than ever before. 92 million, I think we're going to get this year. We have related programs that are going to get funds. But thanks for mentioning we're doing congressional earmarks for the first time in about a decade. And I did put in a request for a Pennsylvania earmark. And for those who follow the challenges we have on the Chesapeake Bay, the Susquehanna River is the freshwater source for the Chesapeake Bay. It's critically important. Our farmers have done a pretty good job along the Susquehanna. The Pennsylvania farmers have not. And it's frustrating to Maryland farmers to make the effort and then see a lot of it negated because of what's happening in Pennsylvania. So I did get an earmark that will help deal with the Pennsylvania issue. And the good news here is, as a result of this attention, it looks like we're getting Pennsylvania legislators now following my lead and requesting some help for the Pennsylvania farmers. So I think we may have embarrassed them a little bit to move ahead more aggressively. And that was part of our strategy. So thanks for mentioning it. We're going to do everything we can to protect that great treasure we have in Maryland.
Good news. Thank you very much.
That is a long overdue initiative. Thank you, Senator. Councilmember Friedson.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this conversation. It is a reminder and a testament to the breadth and depth of your knowledge on issues local, national, and global. Really refreshing at a time when sometimes politics can be frustrating, to join you and see the embodiment of such a long and credentialed career in public service. So thank you, Senator, for representing us. I echo a lot of the comments of colleagues, our appreciation for all the work that you've been doing on the Bay, on voting rights, on infrastructure, which will be generational. And we look forward to you and the Biden administration and your colleagues moving that through, and also human infrastructure related to childcare and so many of the other work that you're doing. I think we finally made the case that human infrastructure is such an important investment that we need to make just as important as the traditional infrastructure that we focus on. And I'll echo the comments of the Vice President. We know how much you care about Montgomery County, by deploying Ken Reichert to us and with us to partner with us every day. And it's really great to see you, my friend. So appreciate that as well. I did want to focus specifically on an item that we mentioned briefly earlier about mental health. We did get good news from Congressman Trone that $325,000 that we all had advocated for EveryMind for virtual mental health services is going to be included in the House version of the Labor Health and Human Services funding bill, which is really welcome news. So we look forward to your support on the Senate side for that. I just wanted to note that, but also wanted to ask you more broadly. Obviously, $325,000 is a good start for very specific services, but it pales in comparison to the need. This is an underfunded area, as you know, and I know you've worked on for decades and decades, and it has only magnified in great need during the pandemic for so many different reasons, which touches everybody at every age, in every community across the county, across the country. And so I just wanted to hear from you about your thoughts on expanding mental health services and federal investment, particularly in helping our nonprofit sector and local jurisdictions like Montgomery County to be able to meet the staggering needs that we know are there in mental health.
And thank you for that. So let me just tell you my strategy. As the senior senator, I've tried to get all 10 members of our congressional delegation coordinated on how we use our strength in Congress to maximize the helps to our community. 9 of our 10 members are participating in congressional earmarks. 1 is not. I'll let you figure out which one that is. We were not able to coordinate as well as we wanted to on the House side because they had very early deadlines and they had to respond. And each of our House members, I think, did an outstanding job in sorting through the restrictions on congressional earmarks, first in a decade. And I think they did a great job. So I'm glad that Congressman Trone was able to take care of the specific program that you mentioned. Senator Van Hollen and I have been trying to coordinate the best that we can. Deadlines have at times caused us to have some overlap, so it's not as pure as we would like it to be, but we have leveraged as best as we can our 2 requests. And just to underscore that, at the end of the day, when we put out our press statements on it, we do it together, and we don't list which one is which. We think that because we are trying to do this as a teamwork, the 2 of us, for the state of Maryland. So I just really want to give a shout out to Senator Van Hollen and his team and my team and trying to coordinate our efforts. But that's a small part of the package. We want to get the major programs that fund mental health fully funded at a level so that you can get the ongoing support you need for mental health services in Montgomery County. And we've been pretty successful in getting the overall funding levels at a significantly higher level. Now, I will acknowledge a large part of those funds go through the state of Maryland. And the governor, I think, has been, I can't speak to how well he allocates those funds, but every time he does, I hear from him as if it's all his money, not the federal government's money. So, and that really gets me aggravated because we need to have the public understand what we're doing in Washington needs support. And most of the mental health dollars are coming through the federal government. So we're going to continue to push hard to make sure these programs are adequately funded. The last thing, which is really good news, we have strong bipartisan support for expansion of mental health services in this country and addiction services in this country. It is strong and it's genuine and it's on both sides of the aisle. So I am optimistic that you'll continue to see us find creative ways to help in regards to addiction. It's been a challenge with the opioid crisis and with fentanyl. And different parts of Maryland have used different strategies and have found some working, some don't. So we want to make sure that we fully support your strategies for dealing with mental health and addiction, and that you have a strong federal partner, and we'll do it through congressional earmarks, and we'll do it through programmatic programs, and we'll support you on the earmarks, and we'll support you on your requests to get funds under the programmatic efforts that we're making.
Well, thank you so much for your leadership. It certainly hit far too many of us far too close to us. And so we really appreciate all of the hard work that you continue to do. And I'll just quickly add to Councilmember Reamer's point about the pandemic center that we all have been working hard on. Really appreciate your support and your continued efforts on that. It'll both be life changing for the jobs that it would create for the county and the region, and life saving for the groundbreaking research that it will create to both prevent and help to mitigate the next pandemic. So thank you so much for that, and really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. Councilmember Katz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And Senator, it is always good to see you. And I certainly associate myself with what my colleagues have already said, including talking about our friend Ken Reichert and how much we enjoy seeing him and teasing him when we see him. But I can't see you without thinking of your wife, Myrna, and what a great team you have always been, not only for Montgomery County, but really for the entire United States. So we sincerely thank you for everything that you and Myrna and everyone else in your team have continued to do. So please send our best to her as well. You know, it's already been mentioned, Councilmember Friedson brought up about the mental health concerns, and being the chair of the Public Safety Committee, and I'm joined by President Hucker and Vice President Albornoz, and we all know that public safety is more than just safety in its traditional way. It also involves so many other areas. But one of the concerns that we have, and you've just touched on it, is the addiction. I had a constituent write to me and say that they were talking about the Recovery Academic Program, and that Congressman Trone is actually on one of the two schools that are and he's on the board in Frederick. And we need to continue to do so much of a better job than what we are doing. I mean, this country has lived through a tremendous crisis, and we're not finished it yet. But we had a crisis before in opioids, as well as a mental health crisis before that. So we need to continue to make certain that we're all working together, that there's a coordination, and so that we can all get to that better place for all of us. And all of our families. So I don't, unless you want to comment what more we can do together, I appreciate that. But otherwise, I just wanted to thank you for all of your hard work. You were truly an inspiration for all of us. Thank you.
Well, Sid, thank you. I'll just thanks for your friendship and thanks for your help over the years. I would just add this point. Before COVID-19, it was a very serious crisis in this country. COVID-19 made it worse. First of all, it was a higher stress for families, so they were going through a greater stress. Secondly, they couldn't get the services because of the shutdown of our country. Third, the healthcare workers were in short supply. Fourth, the governments, at least initially, were very stressed as to resources, since their resources were already being tapped. So for all those reasons, we saw a major escalation in the crisis during COVID-19. And I want to compliment both the Democratic and Republican leadership on this. In the early stages of COVID-19 relief, we did provide more support for mental health and addiction services because we recognized that this was a crisis made worse by COVID-19. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, there doesn't seem to be quite as much interest on the Republican side, but there's still strong interest on the Democratic side to make sure that these services are increased. So, you're pointing out a reality that we have to deal with, and I can assure you we're going to fight for those funds.
Thank you very much, Senator. Always good seeing you.
Thanks so much, Senator. Thanks to all my colleagues. I don't see any other requests, and I know we're a little over our time. So, Senator, just let me thank you and echo everything that's been said about Ken. He serves us all really, really well, and we're so grateful to have his contributions as well. I'm glad he's feeling better. Thank you so much for all your hard work for us. We're really lucky to have you, luckier than any state in the nation. So stay in close touch.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate the time. Stay well, everybody.
Thanks so much, Senator. Take care.
Thank you, Senator.